50s, like around 50, 52 maybe. And I've seen a few does and a little 4-pointer. He just left the food plot. He's like maybe 10-inch wide, little tiny little guy about like this, you know. It's cool. The small one keeps looking back in the woods. And there we go. There's Curly right there. Nice. Awesome. Look at that frame. Oh, he looks good. Oh, look at that. He looks great. He looks awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. I first laid eyes on Curly in September, and he was on the far side of my food plot. And although I was able to coax in the smaller 10-pointer that he was with, he got distracted by a 4th deer, and unfortunately he left the plot and headed west in the opposite direction. Well, the morning started off slow, but it's sure heated up. He'll probably sit with his back to the field, facing towards the creek. So anything coming up through this open field here, he can smell without seeing it. He'll be able to smell it, and then he'll be able to watch down towards the creek. On my second encounter, I almost closed the deal on this cold October morning. It's day 18. While walking in this morning, down the hill from the truck, towards the drainage, that would ultimately lead me to the creek and then to the stand. About halfway to the creek, the deer ran off. I mean, didn't snort or snap. It didn't blow like crazy, just kind of like ran off a little bit, maybe 5-10 yards, and then kind of walked off. It didn't have a clue what I was. And I immediately started grunting like I was a deer, like I was a buck, down in the drainage, out of sight, you know, just covering ground. So, I just got done rattling, and I'm in the stand, sitting for the first time all season. Curly and King Tut like to cross this creek right here, in the morning, primarily. So I'm gonna hang tight, see what happens. I just blew it. I snort wheezed, and Curly was right behind me. He was 35 yards behind me. He was coming right along. I didn't know that. I just snort wheezed. All of a sudden, boom, I hear a deer take off in the tall grass. I had a camera set up along this edge, and I knew this buck crossed the creek right below me. And he always comes through in the morning. I just got done doing my pre-hunt interview. That was a dead buck. That was a dead deer, man. I rattled about 25 minutes ago. And, God, that would have been amazing. He was coming right to the rattling. And, I didn't know that. I turned around. And that grass is so tall, and they blend in so perfectly. I snort wheezed, and he was right behind me, 35 yards. I not done that, he would come right, he was coming right along the edge of the creek. He was 35 yards. He would come right along this edge, chip shot for par right here, 15 yards. God, I can't believe I just blew that.
Because the wind was marginal, I played it safe by not crossing the creek on this evening hunt. So let's see what happens.
Got it. He's not interested at all. Comes Curly. Right there, baby. Right there.
I would put an arrow in Curly on my fourth encounter, but unfortunately that evening hunt did not have a favorable outcome. This right here would end up being my favorite video clip of Curly the entire season. Meat. On this evening hunt, I spotted Curly in his bed as soon as I climbed up into my stand. And despite the frigid temperature, he chose not to come down the hill and feed in the food plot with the other deer.
To do my pre-hunt interview here really quick. It's day 27 for me. I hunted last night and I saw Beefy and I saw Curly. Curly might not have decided to come down to the food plot, but I'm pretty sure he repositioned from bedding in the thick pines to that little lip right over the edge so he could see the food plot and make sure everything was safe before coming down. I grunted to him once, got his attention. When I grunted to him a second time, I think that was a little bit too much, and he got up and walked right back up into the pines and knew something was up. We've been playing this cat and mouse game since the season opened. I'm just glad that he's alive. After my arrow only penetrated about 7 inches into his high and far back right rear quarter, he disappeared for 5 days and showed back up on the 20th. I shot him on the 15th. He showed back up on the 20th. So I'm just happy that he's still alive and he's looking like he's in great shape. I even got pictures of him a couple days after he showed up, again, sparring with Beefy on the northwest corner of the food plot. I love all these trails. It becomes so obvious after even just a couple days of being snow on the ground. Behind me are a bunch of coyote tracks on the frozen creek that weren't there at this same time last night. He looks like he's in great shape, and I'm just blessed that he's still around to pursue. So I just want to get this pre-hunt interview out of the way because there's a bunch of turkeys I can hear me open on top of the hill there. They're going to work their way down the food plot like they do every night. So I'm going to get in position, get ready. We'll see what happens.
I had a strong feeling that Curly was going to show up this evening. The plot filled with deer early on, so I had high hopes that I was going to fill my tag. Let's see how this evening hunt unfolds as I have my final encounter of the season with this gorgeous buck. Although I practice all summer out to 60 yards, I do that so the shots at less than 40 are that much easier. Having said that, I decided not to shoot because he was already on high alert, and with dead calm conditions, the chances of him jumping the string were extremely high. I also couldn't bear the thought of wounding him a second time, so I just filmed him instead.